Heidi. Kiki. Da Nancy Iowa.
Hello and welcome to Portland State University. My name is Ken Ruoff and I direct the Center for Japanese Studies. And I must say, after last night's remarkable Tsugaru shamisen performance, it's a special privilege to direct this center. And we have an equally exciting event today, a lecture by Mr. Yuzaburo Mogi, the CEO of Kikkoman Corporation. I am a historian, as many of you know, and I do want to bring to your attention, before I introduce our president, Dr. Wim Wiebel, that there is quite a history to Kikkoman Corporation. Is in about 300 years, and there is a very solid academic work about the history of Kikkoman Corporation put out by Harvard University Press. And just let me read you the opening line to the book. The Kikkoman Corporation, including its antecedent undertakings, is the oldest continuous enterprise among the 200 largest industrial firms in Japan. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. So the book is by Mark Fruin, and it's just titled Kikkoman. But let me turn this over to Dr. Wim Wiebel, who's going to make some remarks.
Great. Thank you, Ken. It's always great to be at events of the Center for Japanese Studies because it just brings in such a stunning array both of high-quality speakers but also high-quality listeners. And what good would it be to have a speaker if you didn't have high-quality listeners? You know, this comment you made about the age of the company is very interesting because I remember reading once that of the 1,000 organizations in the world that are still that are older than 500 years, 500 of them are universities. Universities are remarkably long-lasting institutions, and indeed, Portland State, in thinking about our relationship to this metropolitan area, is influenced by that knowledge because it's very much my sense that we are what I call an anchor institution. And as I tell many people, and I've told business people around town this, that we are here and we are going to stay here, and I will bet you any amount of money that we will be here long after all the businesses represented in this room are gone. Now, I might have to make an exception for Kikkoman Company, obviously, but universities are long-lasting animals, and that's partly why I think we feel we have such a deep responsibility for the well-being of the urban areas where we're located, because our fate is tied to them and vice versa. I'm particularly pleased to make a couple of introductory comments start before this lecture by Mr. Mogi, because I actually found some interesting connections. Now, first I have to admit to something very embarrassing. Until probably about 5 years ago or so, if you had asked me what country the Kikkoman Company was from, I would have sworn to you that it was a Finnish company. There's just something about that name that sounds very Finnish to me. And now I never thought deeply about what kind of crops they grow in Finland that would allow you to create soy sauce, but it's sort of interesting. And I will admit that it's probably a result of my European bias. And I was actually very glad to discover that Mr. Mogi and I do have some Dutch connections. He's been involved in building the Kikkoman plant in Groningen, which only I can pronounce correctly. That he is in fact has been recognized by the Queen with one of the royal orders of Oranje Nassau, Oranje Nassau being the name of our royal house. That's a great honor, and I'm very impressed by that. And the other connection, that's a personal one, is that the foundation of the company is a strong supporter of Youth for International Understanding, which is a student exchange organization. Now, I did not participate in that organization, but I first came to the United States through the American Field Service, which is very much the same kind of organization that exchanges high school students. And I just know from my own life the incredible value and truly the life-changing impact that organizations like that have on young people. And of course, it is exactly to have these kinds of life-changing impacts that a center like the Center for Japanese Studies is so important. Because today, even more so than, what, 44 years ago when I was an 18-year-old high school student. Gosh, I was 18. Anyway, 68, 69 was a great year. Even more so now than then, it is so important to prepare our students to be global citizens. You know, we cannot just be expert in some field in a narrow way. We have to understand how we fit into this larger world. And we have to educate even somebody who may say, you know, I'm never gonna travel. It's the old Homer Simpson joke. When somebody criticizes his English and he says, I don't have to know English, I'm never gonna go to England. Well, you know, even if you're never gonna go to England or never gonna go to Japan, your life is going to be influenced by what is happening all around the world. So you have to understand that. And this lecture is part of a series where we focus on diversity and cultural understanding applied to international business, which is really a great subject. Now, the other part of the lecture series like this is the notion of partnerships, you know, bringing in people from the outside. And partnerships are just critical to how we define, again, it goes back to our role in this metropolitan area and really in the world. We obviously do that jointly with other organizations. And in that regard, I'm very honored to recognize Kuro and Nikki Kurosaki, who have been such significant and long-standing supporters of our Center for Japanese Studies. And with the support of them and other people in the room here, we've been able to build this center to a level of excellence that, frankly, is rarely seen anywhere, period, but is especially rarely seen, again, in universities like Portland State that have a strong commitment to access and affordability to serve the residents of this region. So it is that combination of providing access and affordability to a broad range of people from this region, while at the same time creating the excellence that allows us to be competitive in a very competitive global world that we exemplify here in this center and in today's presentation. So with that, I think I've been asked to ask whether Kuro would like to say a few words, and then I'm going to turn it back to...
Thank you very much, Wim. I really appreciate it. And I'm really happy that I've been involved with Center for Japanese at PSU. And, you know, I've been, you know, immigrated from Japan 25 years ago. And I am really happy to live in this community because some institutions such as Portland State University has been really focusing on educating community and making the bridge with Japan. And I do believe just I will continue to, you know, support and being involved with this program. And thank you very much.
Thanks for those kind remarks. And